increase of new cases a worrying trend. Forced labour claims are baseless. Thanks for choosing Updates at Noon on TV2. You're with me, I'm Renee Fong. Health Director General Datuk Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah has expressed his worry over the latest COVID-19 situation in the country, especially with the increase of new cases involving local transmissions. He said this after as the new number of the new COVID-19 cases in the country hit double digits for the third straight day after 15 cases were reported yesterday.
Situasi COVID-19 kebelakangan ini didapati membimbangkan kerana jumlah kes harian yang dilaporkan didapati terus meningkat, terutamanya kes penularan di dalam negara. Sebelum ini, jumlah kes aktif telah menurun kepada 63 kes, iaitu kes kebolehjangkitan pada 9 Julai 2020. Namun begitu, ia meningkat dan jumlah kes aktif kembali melebihi 100 kes pada 19 Julai 2020 dan kini mencecah 130 kes pada hari ini. Sehingga 21 Julai 2020, jumlah kluster yang aktif adalah 19 kluster, di mana terdapat 13 kluster baru yang diumumkan dalam tempoh 10 hari kebelakangan ini.
Datuk Dr. Nur Hisham explained that 3 of the 13 clusters are linked to COVID-19 local transmissions from import cases, namely the Novgorod patients under investigation PIU cluster, the Shirala PUI and Pitakwa cluster. The Health Director General also said the Health Ministry also welcomed the government's decision to make it compulsory for Malaysians and foreigners coming back from overseas to undergo 14 days of isolation at designated quarantine stations instead of their own homes. He said this decision is hoped to prevent new clusters from emerging, especially involving local transmission cases, as the public has become complacent and becoming more relaxed with the standard operating procedure implementation. Datuk Dr. Nur Hisham also stressed and reminded the public that a face mask must be worn properly for it to be effective in preventing the spread of diseases. He said the face mask should cover the entire nose up to chin, while leaving it around the forehead or neck or having it only cover part of the nose and mouth was not appropriate and in fact posed a risk of contamination or infection. He explained that the use of a face mask is an important method to prevent the spread of respiratory diseases that are transmitted through viruses including COVID-19. Meanwhile, the Health Director General also reported that over 70% fatalities due to COVID-19 involved senior citizens. Datuk Dr. Nur Hisham said the Health Ministry is concerned over the public's lukewarm attitude towards protecting senior citizens from COVID-19 infections.
Orang ramai sewajarnya mengamalkan langkah pencegahan jangkitan, terutamanya memakai pelitup separuh muka, amalan kebersihan tangan yang tinggi dan penjarakan sosial yang selamat apabila berada di kalangan golongan ini. Bagi ahli keluarga atau penjaga yang duduk serumah bersama warga mas adalah menjadi tanggungjawab mereka untuk memastikan golongan warga mas sentiasa terjaga dan dilindungi daripada jangkitan COVID-19. Begitu juga setiap individu perlu memainkan peranan dan mengambil tanggungjawab bersama terhadap keluarga, komuniti, negara demi menjaga keselamatan dan kesihatan golongan warga mas.
The government has no plans to postpone the reopening of schools despite the increase in the number of COVID-19 positive cases reported both locally and globally. Senior Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said that reopening of schools will continue as decided earlier. Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri explained that any changes on the reopening of schools will be made if there is a case detected in school or in any sector. The reopening of schools began with Forms 5 and Upper 6 students on 24th June, followed by preschoolers on 1st July with Forms 1 to 4 and Lower 6 students and Years 5 and 6 pupils on 15th July, while pupils in Years 1 to 4 have returned to school beginning today with the strict standard operating procedures SOP set. Recently, the reopening of schools nationwide has sparked concern among some parents as children are at risk of being susceptible to the COVID-19 infection. Meanwhile, on the issue of limiting the number of visitors at shopping malls, Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri encouraged the owners of the premises to stop visitors from entering if the place was too crowded and there was no social distancing. The senior minister said they can create a rotational system to control the crowd to prevent mass entry into the premises.
Pusat membeli belah tersebut boleh mengambil tindakan mereka untuk memastikan keselamatan pelanggan mereka. Jikalau terlalu ramai serentak pergi misalnya dan mereka membuat peraturan supaya ada giliran untuk masuk ke dalam premis perniagaan mereka, mereka boleh lakukan. Kerana sebelum ini pun banyak premis perniagaan di dalam shopping kompleks sekalipun menghadkan dari segi jumlah kemasukan pelanggan mereka.
On another note, the senior minister stressed that pubs, nightclubs and discos have yet to be allowed to resume their operations. He said this after reporting that the majority of those arrested for flouting the Recovery Movement Control Order RMCO SOP involved in nightclubs activities. Explaining further, Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri said police had detained 80 individuals for flouting the RMCO, and of the total, 20 were remanded and 4 more were given bail while 56 individuals were compounded. Of that, 37 offences were related to nightclub activities.
Sehubungan dengan itu, kerajaan melalui Kementerian Perumahan dan Kerajaan Tempatan KPKT dan pihak berkuasa tempatan diarahkan untuk meningkatkan pemantauan dan penguatkuasaan ke atas kelab-kelab malam dan pusat hiburan yang beroperasi semasa tempoh PKPP ini. Ini termasuk tindakan menggantung lesen perniagaan mereka.
The Royal Malaysian Customs Department will receive 20 new cargo screening machines by the end of the year to increase its operations excellence, especially in foiling any smuggling attempt into the country. Its Director General Dato' Abdul Latif Abdul Kadir said the screening machine will be placed in strategic port and airports entry points.
Daripada modus operandi yang kita kesan, mereka telah menggunakan dengan apa cara jua sekalipun yang boleh mengelirukan agensi-agensi penguatkuasaan. Terutamanya dalam kes yang lepas, sebagai contoh, mereka letakkan di dalam minuman sachet minuman susu kambing dan juga susu unta yang 3-in-1 ready made tu. Ada juga meletakkan dalam tea bag dalam bentuk sachet tea, bermacam-macam. So memang kita perlukan peralatan scanner yang lebih canggih.
Dato' Abdul Latif said currently there are about 30 scanners nationwide that are almost obsolete and outdated. The Customs Director General also reported that the department have crippled attempts to smuggle 456.03 million sticks of cigarettes worth 37.33 million ringgit from January to June this year, and successfully prevented duty leakage amounting to 337.5 million ringgit. Dato' Abdul Latif said this involved a total of 804 cases involving seizures of kretek and white cigarettes, including 40 cases during the Movement Control Order MCO. He said in the same period last year, a total of 236.2 million sticks of cigarettes worth 19.52 million ringgit, involving tax worth 174.78 million ringgit, was stopped from being smuggled in by the department. Centre to Combat Corruption and Chronism C4 Centre activist K. Sudagaran Stanley Singh, who was detained on Monday night, was released yesterday. Earlier, he was taken to the Georgetown Court Complex, where the Magistrates Court Assistant Registrar Muhammad Azam Mat Yusof allowed for one-day remand. However, hours later, he was released on police bail, which was confirmed by his lawyer, Arsen Raya. A news portal quoting his wife, Alicia Sudagaran, said police had come to their home and took him away at about 10 p.m. on Sunday. Sudagaran's arrest was believed to be related to his Facebook posting on the vandalized murals at Shah Alam. Federal Criminal Investigation Department Deputy Director Investigation Legal Deputy Commissioner Mio Fadila Tarash Wahid said Sudagaran was being investigated under Section 4 Subsection 1 of the Sedition Act 1948, Section 505 Subsection B of the Penal Code and Section 233 of the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998. Repair work due to soil erosion and sedimentation at Jalan Klang Banting near Johan Setia will take about a week to complete. Prasarana Malaysia Berhad Prasarana Chairman Datuk Sri Tajuddin Abdul Rahman said the soil erosion and sedimentation occurred due to several factors, including frequent downpour over the past 2 weeks and pressure from the construction work from the Light Rail Transit 3 LRT 3 project. Following the incident, he said Prasarana, through the LRT3 project contractor, MRCB George Kent Suren Berhad, will conduct a study on the soil of the area, especially near Jalan Klang Banting, to ensure construction work in the area is safe. He said that on behalf of Prasarana, he apologized for the inconvenience caused.
Dengan kejadian seperti ini, pihak MRCB GK akan melaksanakan soil investigation, especially the surrounding area ini, bagi memastikan bahawa tanah-tanah ini selamatlah untuk meneruskan kerja-kerja itu.
Met by reporters when visiting the site yesterday, he said the soil sedimentation is quite serious and has also caused the underground water pipe to burst, affecting water supply to about 14,000 consumers in the area. Work was being carried out to repair the burst pipes, and the water supply is expected to be restored by this afternoon. Meanwhile, Selangor Local Government Public Transport and New Village Development Committee Chairman Ng Zhihan, who also visited the site, said the state government had asked the contractor of the LRT3 project to submit forensic report on the incident. Schools have fully reopened for the first time since the Movement Control Order MCO was implemented on 18th March. The final phase of the reopening today involves years 1 to 4 pupils. The youngest in the schooling system return to schools, but adjusting to the new normal should not be a problem for them, according to the National Union of the Teaching Profession, NUTP. NUTP Secretary General Harry Tan said preschoolers and kindergarteners too have returned, and there haven't been any issues so far. He added it may be difficult at first, but it's not impossible, as teachers will do their best to instill the importance of health. Tan reminded students and schools to not take the pandemic lightly now that it's all systems go for schools. Investigations by the Labour Department on rubber glove manufacturer Top Glove Corps Berhad relating to claims that the company used forced labour was found to be baseless. Human Resources Minister Datuk Sri M. Saravanan said this as he commented on the detention order on Top Glove products by the US Customs and Border Protection, CBP. Datuk Sri Saravanan said such claim could affect the country's credibility and image at the international level, as well as influence foreign investors' confidence in the country.
Dan saya akan melawan Top Glove dengan pegawai-pegawai kanan daripada kementerian dan juga menjemput wakil daripada Amerika Syarikat supaya kita sama-sama melihat ataupun membuktikan bahawa tuduhan ini tidak berasal. Yang kedua, sekiranya ada apa-apa kekurangan dalam industri Malaysia, saya harap agensi-agensi di luar negara jangan campur tangan secara terus. Patut berhubung dengan kementerian yang berkenaan dan minta penjelasan sebelum mengambil sebarang tindakan. Maka saya sebagai Menteri Sumber Manusia, saya akan melawat hampir ke semua kilang-kilang yang sedia ada untuk memastikan tiada unsur-unsur seperti ini berlaku. Yang pertama.
Previously, it was reported that the detention order by CBP on rubber glove exports to the US beginning 15 July was issued to two subsidiaries of Top Glove, namely Top Glove Sdn Bhd and TG Medical Sdn Bhd, due to elements of forced labour. On another note, the Ministry of Human Resources has confirmed that the headquarters of Top Glove Corporation Berhad in Meru, Klang, had been raided by enforcers on 13th July. In a statement, the ministry said the raid was conducted as the glove manufacturer had breached movement control order rules, as well as provided cramped quarters for foreign staff. According to the statement, the raid was carried out by task forces for the Anti-Trafficking in Persons and Anti-Smuggling of Migrants Act 2007 and the Recovery Movement Control Order RMCO. A compound and compliance notice were issued by the Health Ministry as well as the Housing and Local Government Ministry to the global glove manufacturer. On another note, the statement said the glove maker was cleared of imposing forced labour as no offence involving elements of forced labour were found during the raid. Recently, Top Glove had confirmed that the US Customs and Border Protection (CBP) had placed a detention order on disposable gloves manufactured by two of the Top Glove manufacturers' subsidiaries, namely Top Glove Sdn Bhd and TG Medical Sdn Bhd. The ministry said it is aware of how the CBP detention order can affect the credibility and image of Malaysia as well as influence foreign investor confidence following the allegations of forced labour. As such, Human Resources Minister Datuk Sri M. Saravanan said he will visit Top Glove as well as invite representatives from the US to see for themselves to prove that the claims were baseless. He said this as he stressed that the government would not compromise in the forced labour issue. The Selangor State Government has no plans to increase the water tariff as the people are still facing the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Menteri Besar Datuk Sri Amiruddin Syari said the water tariff issue will be discussed when the time is right.
Sustainability pengurusan air itu bukan negeri Selangor saja, semua tempat memang agak bergantung dengan tarif. Berpuluh tahun, bukan negeri Selangor saja, Pahang, Perlis 30 tahun tak naik, dan akhirnya dia akan membebankan kepada pengguna apabila perkhidmatan itu tidak dapat disalurkan dengan baik, penggantian paip tidak dapat dilakukan. Itu asasnya.
In the parliament yesterday, the government gave the assurance that it will not increase the water tariff as the people are faced with economic burdens and the COVID-19 pandemic, which has not yet ended. The Badminton Association of Malaysia, BAM, has appointed Olympic Sports Administrator Robert Gambardella as Chief Executive Officer of the Academy Badminton Malaysia, ABM. BAM President Datuk Sri Muhammad Norza Zakaria said Gambardella will start work on 1st August subject to immigration clearance. According to Datuk Sri Muhammad Norza, Gambardella has a thorough understanding of the sports industry with a wealth of experience, having been the Singapore Sports Institute SSI chief for 7 years, adding that he was an outstanding candidate in a strong field.
Robert present is more on the institutional organization. Different role. Like a school, you need to have a principal, right? So that is basically the similarity. You have all these components, right from food, housekeeping and everything, taking care of facilities management, but you need a boss that basically put everything together, come up with 5 years ahead in your plan, putting up KPI for every department, not necessary Chun Han, So these are bringing this place to a world-class academy.
He said this after chairing the BAM Management Committee meeting at the ABM yesterday. Datuk Sri Muhammad Norza added that Gambardella would be tasked with overseeing the mini national sports science unit at ABM that is scheduled to start in mid-August to support senior and junior squads. He hoped ABM's vision would be realised with sports technology at the crux of strengthen the technical aspects of the world-class training facility. Gambardella was the SSI chief from 2009 to 2016, with Joseph Schooling becoming the finest athlete to emerge during that period, as the swimmer went on to capture the Island Republic's first ever gold medal at 2016 Rio Olympic Games. The Football Association of Malaysia, FAM, has set up a selection committee to ensure the smooth election process of the association's executive committee for the 2021 to 2025 term at next year's FAM Congress. FAM in a statement yesterday said that the decision was to ensure that the election of leadership in the national football governing body would be carried out without being influenced by any party. It said the selection committee has been formed by FAM to ensure its election system is in line with the practices, proper and transparent governance adopted by the AFC, Asian Football Confederation and FIFA. The formation of the four-man selection panel comprising a chairman and 3 independent officers was among 4 decisions made at the 11th FAM Executive Committee meeting at Wisma FAM yesterday. Also approved was the proposed amendment to the FAM statute to ensure that the statute at the affiliate level would be aligned with what is contained in the FAM statute, besides taking into account the concept of separation between Football Association FA and Football Club FC. The meeting also confirmed that the management of the Amateur Football League AFL, which is currently under the Malaysian Football League MFL, will be taken over by FAM beginning next season. Meanwhile, FAM confirmed that its 56th annual general meeting AGM will be held at the leading hotel in the capital on 29th August. That's it from us this afternoon. In our top story, COVID-19, increase of new cases, a worrying trend. News at 10 comes on at 10 this evening on Berita RTM News Channel on My Free Views Channel 123. I'm Renee Fong. Thanks for watching and have a pleasant afternoon.